When I taught the 15-year-old Sunday school class, I had a great group of kids. They were very respectful and they always participated when I asked questions. The only problem I had with this class is that I had a hard time getting them engaged and excited about the lesson. There was one lesson that I taught that they were very excited about and very engaged and had such a great discussion that they didn't even want to leave when the class time was over. Ironically, the topic of the lesson was the law of chastity. I taught them about the law of chastity, and I told them the reasons for the law of chastity, what it is, and why they should live the law of chastity. And as all these lessons began, the kids were very awkward. They were staring at the floor, shuffling their feet back and forth. But then I asked the question that they want to know the answer to. They know what they're not supposed to do, but they wanted to know what is appropriate and what is okay. And they wanted to understand how they should apply this to their lives. And from this, I learned that youth want to know and want to discuss the things that are issues that they are facing. And there are many issues that the youth are facing right now. And the people they would like to talk to most about this are their parents and their church leaders. And so some of those issues that they would like to talk about, one of the biggest issues that affects them today is, what is the big deal about pornography? The big deal about pornography is the damaging effects it has. It damages the brain, it damages the family, and it damages society. Pornography damages the brain in the same way that cocaine and meth damage the brain. When viewing pornography, the exact same chemical reactions occur in the brain as when doing these drugs. The only difference is that in viewing pornography, these chemical reactions are much more extreme. It's like a chemical bomb going off in the brain. Also, when viewing pornography, studies show that teens' brains respond with their reward pathways 2 to 4 times more powerfully than adult brains, which means that an excessively higher level of dopamine is released in their brains. And just as with cocaine and meth, viewing pornography is addicting. When the brain gets flooded with all of this dopamine, that is not a healthy state for the brain, and so it tries to compensate. And it compensates by shrinking the dopamine receptor so that less dopamine is being released. And over time, the individual needs to have more and more dopamine to even be able to feel normal. The individual begins to crave more and more pornography. Elder Dallin H. Oaks said, it impairs decision-making, and it hooks its users, drawing them back obsessively for more and more. A man who had been addicted to pornography and to hard drugs wrote me this comparison. In my eyes, cocaine doesn't hold a candle to this. I have done both. Quitting even the hardest drugs was nothing compared to trying to quit pornography. Pornography physically changes the brain. Viewing pornography rewires the neural pathways of the brain, making new connections. And as they stated on fightthenewdrug.org website, neurons that fire together wire together. And studies show that in addiction in their brain, the frontal lobes begin to shrink. Pornography is damaging to the family. Viewing pornography damages the ability to form meaningful relationships. As M.A. Layden said in Pornography and Violence, healthy relationships are built on equality, honesty, respect, and love. But in porn, it's the reverse. Interactions are based on dominance, disrespect, abuse, violence, and detachment. Viewing pornography results in the loss of the spirit. Elder Dallin H. Oaks said, when we worthily partake of the sacrament, we are promised that we will always have his spirit to be with us. To qualify for this promise, we covenant that we will always remember him. Those who seek out and use pornography for sexual stimulation obviously violate that covenant. They also violate a sacred covenant to refrain from unholy and impure practices. They cannot have the spirit to be with them. I personally have seen the damaging effects of pornography on families. My sister married a really sharp returned missionary. He was very active in the church. They were married in the temple. They had 4 beautiful daughters, and they were the cutest little family. He was such a great dad, and everything with him was awesome, and everything was an adventure. They would go to the grocery store, and it was a big adventure. But then he started viewing pornography, and it totally changed his personality and his attitudes and the way that he interacted with his family. He became very abusive to my sister, and she finally left him. After she'd left him, she found out from her 2 oldest daughters that their dad had been sexually abusing them and that he had threatened to kill their mother if they told. He does not have any contact with them. This has been 12 years ago, and they're all now grown, but they all still continue to have emotional and physical problems because of the abuse that took place in their home that was based on pornography. Pornography damages society. Viewing pornography leads to objectifying women and promotes violence towards women. It also makes women believe that violence in relationships is normal and even healthy. Viewing pornography has a couple of side effects that also affect society. One of these is a lower material success of individuals who are involved with pornography and a change in beliefs of those who are involved in pornography. And both of these have damaging effects on society. Now that you know how pornography damages the brain, the family, and society, you need to get involved. You need to get educated, and you need to talk to your children. 80% of first exposures to pornography occur in the home between the ages of 4 and 11. Pornography loses its allure when it is talked about openly. It thrives in secrecy. Some good resources to go to find out more information about pornography and how to talk to your children are the church's website, overcomingpornography.org, and the church manual, a parent's guide, and then the fightthenewdrug.org website is a fantastic resource. It has a lot of resources from other sites and other articles and journals. If you're addicted to pornography, you need to get help. How many days does it take to overcome an addiction? It takes 2 years. You cannot do it alone. The only way to overcome pornography is through repentance and through the atonement. We all need to get involved and warn others about the damaging effects of pornography.